Just another update video on my reverse trike Morgan style three-wheeler project. I've had a lot done since last time I put up a video, so I'm going to go through all the new things, and then for those people who are new, on the second half of the video I'll go over just everything and kind of a reboot. Anyway, so here's my three-wheeler build. Last time we talked about I was planning on doing a windshield, and now I actually have one in. Let's go in and look at that a little bit. So what I have here is glass from a Volkswagen Beetle windshield. I tried two other windshields trying to cut them and had basically catastrophic failure. But this one worked, and I think it might have been a little easier because they're dead flat. So basically, a windshield for a car has two pieces of glass with a piece of rubber sandwiched in between it, and what that is for is so if you catch a window rock, that it doesn't just shatter and go in your face and cut you. So that's a good safety thing, but from a cutting glass standpoint, it's very difficult because you basically have to score one side, then in the exact same line score the other side, and then break it. And at any point when you're trying to break it along your score lines, they can just go off anywhere and have cracks anywhere. So on the first two I did, they failed. This one succeeded, and then I have a few little pieces of equipment for doing stained glass, and one of them is a little edger with a diamond wheel. And so I was able to, I taped these two together, and then you can see the edge here. I went around with that diamond wheel, get it in focus, went around with the diamond wheel and edged them so they are exactly the same size, they match. So then after I had the two, I took a piece of copper tubing, which is this piece down here, and I'm gonna end up polishing it at some point, but I took a piece of old copper tubing, I split it, created a channel, used JB weld to weld that in there, and I set it at the angle that I wanted it to be at. Getting the top view, you can see there's a bit of an angle between the two. So set the angle. Once that JB weld was all hardened up, I cut this copper piece that goes in between, and there's about a 1/4 inch gap between the two glasses. I put this side on, and I used the really heavy industrial double back tape that you use for putting decals on cars, and I put it on one side. Then I mixed up a whole bunch of JB weld, filled that channel, and then put another piece of copper on the back side and taped that in. And when that all hardened up, I drilled it, and it's covered up, but right here, if we took this off, you'd see there was a screw that went all the way through and screwed it in. So it's very stiff. You can see I can, pretty tight. And it looks good. You'll have to tell me what you think of it, but just walking around a little bit, showing you what that's like. I think it looks the part. In fact, I think it actually looks like a Tri-King more than a Morgan three-wheeler. Got a neighbor trying to get in their driveway here. Let me get out of the way. So that's one of the things that I did. It's looking really good. If we come up here, look at it from the back now. In the past, it did not have any floor in it. So you can see here now I have plywood in the floor. I cut those two pieces identically. So I basically gang cut them, gang sanded them so they're identical size. And the good thing about that is that sets the symmetry for the whole kind of rounded back to be the same on both sides for the symmetry of all of it. And then I have welded in this channel. See that angle iron? That's all welded in now, actually a supported floor. In the front here, rather than just going straight forward, I dropped it just a little. And what that does, gives me just a little extra foot room, which was really important, especially on the driver's side, for pedal work. This side I have not put the sight on at all, so you can kind of see how it's going to be. Let's go back around to the driver's side. you can see over here, where I got that piece of powder coated aluminum, and that's just a primer. It'll all get painted to look the same. It's kind of hard to envision sometimes with that bright yellow, but it is important. But you can see down inside there, having that little bit of a step down so that my foot can clear that little step right there is really important. And so those are the major kind of new improvements. So now I'm going to go over kind of a reboot of the story of this guy for any new viewers. Basically, I bought a Triumph Spitfire car. I took the body off, clear down to the chassis. I also bought a Moto Guzzi Breva 1100 motorcycle and disassembled it. So when you come around to the front here, that's that Moto Guzzi 1100 V-twin engine sitting on the front of that car chassis. I also, on the front here, replaced the car A-arms with A-arms out of a Polaris Ranger, and I replaced the wheels from the Triumph car to be Model A 19-inch wheels, which gives you a 30-inch tall tire. Cool thing about that is, if I lay a 2x4 across those wheels, they're the same height as the heads of the engine, which gives it a really nice geometry, and it's more similar to the Morgan three-wheeler that you see in England. For the front hood, I have a 1940 Ford car hood that I've cut to go around that engine, which makes it actually a little bit more like the Tri-King in appearance than really the Morgan. But I think it still fits the spirit of the Morgan as well from the older 1930s versions of the car, which is really what I'm going for. I want something that actually looks like it could have been around since the days of cycle cars, which would have been in the 20s and 30s. So it's got that 1940 Ford hood on the front. And then if we go around to the back, on the side here where there's no covering, we can see I got a drive line going from the engine to the motorcycle swing arm, which is off that Moto Guzzi as well. That's a Jeep Cherokee drive shaft that I modified. I have a little lathe. I modified it to be able to go between. So you got the motorcycle engine, the motorcycle rear end, and nothing modified, just an extended shaft. So it's basically just like it was on the motorcycle with that exception. On the back here, I have a 1950 Chrysler hood, which gives it kind of that nice shape. This little piece down here, that's off that hood in the front. That's the part I cut off where the engine is located. And so I'm using that same piece over again in the back to get that rounded shape for the tail. And I'm probably going to put a brake light right in that spot that's opened up, which I think will look good and add an element of safety. We'll talk about swapping things from side to side. See this white part right there that hood's sitting on? That's a piece of that rear hood. So the rear hood used to be, instead of just rounding down, it had kind of a little OG type shape. And when I cut those off, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them, but I ended up saving them, and I'm glad I did, because I think they look perfect for transitioning that 1940 hood onto the car. And so when you take the hood off, those white pieces stay there, and that's part of the frame and the support system. So that's pretty awesome. Another thing that I've got is steering column out of a BMW, a modern BMW, which gives me electric tilt steering and telescoping steering. So you'll be able to sit in this, and with a couple buttons, you'll be able to adjust the location of the steering wheel to be spot on. And I'm going to set it up so that the pedal set will also move on a track electrically. So you'll sit in there, you'll adjust your steering wheel, you'll adjust your foot pedals to be ready to drive. So even though it's going to look old-fashioned and be pretty simple, and it is, it's still going to have some modern conveniences. And that Moto Guzzi engine is got an ECU, fuel injected, runs like a rock star. So that's going to be awesome. One of the last things I'll point out to you is these awesome exhaust pipes. Those are off of a Royal Enfield motorcycle. I was scrolling Facebook Marketplace one day and I saw those and I thought, man, those might look good on there. And I wasn't sure if they were going to fit, but I just bought them. I just thought, I'm going to do it. So I just bought them, and right there, I welded them to the end piece that mates the engine that came with the actual Moto Guzzi, and they look awesome. And the pipes where they're terminating right now, they're going to continue on, so they'll continue down the side of the car on the outside, and then have the exhaust somewhere back here. One other thing I'm looking at doing, it's going to be one of the next things over the next couple weeks and months, is enclosing this rear end. And that's also the location where I can have a little bit of storage. You can see that space under there that's going to be closed in. On a Morgan, the hood in the back opens. And so, but I don't want to do that. So what I think I might do that's going to be maybe different than what anybody else has done is either make it so they swing out like butterfly wings sort of, or as tip outs. So when you unlock it, you pull it and it would just literally tip out, and then you'd have the access to the storage. I like that idea because then if you ever have a flat tire on the back or need to do maintenance in there for any reason, you could just tip your tip outs out and remove them very easily, and you'd have the full access like it is right now to do maintenance. I haven't quite decided whether to go with the butterfly wings that would kind of swing out like doors almost, or if I'm going to do the tip outs, but I'll be deciding that real soon. So again, my Morgan three-wheeler project. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment section, or anything that you think that I could do better, or any ideas you have. Appreciate it. Have a nice day. Bye.